I'm just going to pray real fast just to start this off. Father, I just thank you for today. Father, just let this word be from you, Father. Allow it to minister to the hearts of this congregation, those watching the sound of my voice, Father. And just let it be from you, Father. We thank you that. Amen. So this week I was having some time with God, and the last about 6 weeks since Pastor Lewis talked to me, he said, Patrick, you got to open it up like you open up youth. So I wanted to start the way we start with youth. That's a good sound. All right. I feel better now. All right. Yes, I am very nervous, but it's okay. It's okay. You know, nerves are good. It keeps you to reflect on what's going on. So it's not of my flesh, it's of the Spirit. And I really feel like God has led a great message here today. So I'm really hoping you're all rested from Christmas. All right, it's been a long couple days. You got to go back to work here. Some of your kids are going back to school. So I hope you feel rested and ready, because we're getting ready to go into 2021. And at the beginning of 2021, we always do these weird things, and we do New Year's resolutions, which we never keep and are never really well done. So we're going to talk about those today. All right, let's not talk about New Year's resolutions. I want to kind of focus on 2020. So for 2020, it has been a rough year for many of us and many people that are watching, things we've gone through in life. And we can honestly say it's not been a fun year to be a Christian, to be a person. All right? And when I look back at it, I've noticed one thing that's been constant emotionally, spiritually, and physically through all of us. We've all experienced this. And it's the one thing I want to address today. So today I'm asking you, bear with me, I want you to take the mask off. Some of you are looking at me kind of weird. I'm not talking about the breathing mask you have on there or the surgical mask. I'm talking about the mask you put on each and every day because you think it's protecting yourself. Still confused? All right. How about the mask you put on, all right, when you come home from work or you come home from school, your mom or dad or your spouse looks at you and goes, "How was your day?" And you go, "It was fine." You know that four-letter F word no one really likes, the word fine? The one when men hear we cringe, all right? I'm talking about the emotional stuff that you have been holding down deep down inside all 2020. Oh yeah, we're going there today. So we all do it. We all have those days where, and moments, sometimes it's a season where you're just hiding who you truly are. You're putting a mask on so people think you're happy and you're go-lucky and you're just maybe super spiritual, all right? But really deep down, you are tormented about what's going on in your life. Maybe you can't see a loved one. Maybe a loved one has passed. Maybe for you, it's just you've lost something, all right? Maybe you've lost the natural connection you had in today's society because we've lost the personal connection with one another. Life Church is doing some amazing things here because we're in the process of moving into Zoom because we're trying to grasp at every personal connection we can possibly get. We're not letting that slip through our fingers. In 2021, we're going to keep on doing it, but we still have lost a lot of it. I remember the times when I wear a mask. I'm normally a very naturally outgoing, bubbly person. I wear my emotions on my sleeves. That's why they're rolled up today. I wouldn't hide them from you today, okay? But I'm very normally outgoing, very bubbly, very exciting, and that's just who I am. But there are sometimes I put a mask on so I can hide my true emotions. And I think we all do this. And I want to pull a time from my memory where it was really rough for me. So this is when I was a young man, younger than I am now. I know some of you are judging that, but younger than I am now. It was about 10 years ago, and I put a mask on, and I was told I was brave, courageous, strong, a leader, and inside I was going through anxiety, I was going through depression. I was at the point in my life where, in this moment, that I didn't know what to do, and I was in shock. And because I was in shock, and because I wasn't holding my emotions on my sleeve for the first time in some of that my family's known, they didn't know what was really going on with me. So over 10 years ago, we lost my grandmother. Still emotional. The emotions never really go away, right? But we all have that person in your family that's the glue, right? That person that's the centerpiece. Sometimes it's a grandparent, sometimes it's a mom and dad, sometimes it's an aunt, uncle. It could be anybody. Every one of you has that person that's the hierarchy of your family. And when that person is no longer here, the foundation kind of starts to wobble. It gets kind of shaky. So when this happened in my family, it was really rough. So I want to tell you about her. She was a tall lady. She was strong-willed, strong-headed. Her name was Pat. I like her. I was named after her. I wonder why. But when she passed away, I have two memories that I have of that time frame. And they were both almost the same. I remember being in the hospital room after she had passed and watched family member after family member come through and was giving some last respects to her. I watched my aunts and uncles, my cousins. It was tough. But I remember being there, and I remember a nurse saying, wow, he's strong, because I wasn't bawling my eyes out. We go to the funeral, and you have all these people that come around because they love you, and they want to support you, and they want to be with you. They want to be with you during a time of need and struggle, and they're telling you they're sorry for your loss. And all I could see was tears. My family was just crying. And I'll tell you this, my family is not a crying family, all right? One of our mottos is get up and rub some dirt in it, all right? That's the family I have, and I love it. But they were crying. And I remember everyone telling me, Pat, you're so strong, you're a comforter, you're being a leader, you're pushing through, you're persevering for your family. And that really wasn't it. I was in shock. I couldn't believe my world had been turned upside down. And I watched family member after family member break down in front of me. And whether my father remembers this or not, we're exiting the building. We're getting ready to leave. And it's just before they're getting ready to take my grandmother away to get cremated. And my father looks at me and says, go take 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes. I can still to this day, and mind you, I'm an emotional person. I cry a lot. Ask my wife. And I've cried during my kids being born. I've cried when my wife was in the hospital. I will cry just because I get emotional. I love watching Titanic to do that as well. But that's okay. I'm an emotional person. But I didn't cry until my father told me to go spend 5 minutes by myself. And I broke down. It is in the top 2 times I've ever cried out so hard in my life. Because I lost someone I truly loved. Many of you during this time will know someone that's going through a struggle. And not just because it's 2020. We're in the season of depression. So from fall to the end of winter, it is one of the toughest times for humans. Because we go through this point where 1 out of every 5 of us have depression, have anxiety. We get this seasonal depression, anxiety of fear and hopelessness that we can't seem to shake during this time where it's supposed to be bubbly and happy and lovely, and you have the lights, and there are some of you that can rock that all day long, but there's some of us that just can't. It's tough. Dr. Michael Wetter, he's a psychologist out in California, says it is now depression and anxiety are up 3 times the amount in 2020. 3 times. Suicides are up. People are missing interaction. We are missing the socialization we used to have. We're missing connection. It's really hard sometimes to be able to let your guard down and express what's really, really going on deep down inside of you. But let me tell you something. If you have a good friend, it helps. I got a buddy of mine who may be sitting in here and give us some props, who twice a week we go out and he drags me out of bed, literally. And we go running and we do push-ups and sit-ups and all this other stuff that I hate. And we talk because I need someone to talk it all out with. But not everyone has that. And during this time in this pandemic, a lot of people have had the communication aspect, being able to have that. And I will tell you, during that time with my grandmother, I was at my deepest depression moment because I felt I couldn't let anyone in because I had to be a strong person. Because I was letting the outside world dictate what I should be feeling and how I should be feeling when it wasn't the truth. I should just let it out. I call it the beach ball effect. How many of you have ever been to the beach? You get your beach ball and you're out there, and I used to do this. I used to push the ball down, and then I'd sit on it. All right? And while I'm sitting on it, I'm trying to balance. Then I have the waves that hit me. Sometimes my brother would run up and try to chuck me off of it just because he thinks it was fun. But what happens is once a little distortion happens, that beach ball comes flying right up. And have you ever been hit by a beach ball? They're plastic, they're full of air, but they got that little ridge on them that cuts your face up and scratches you up real nicely. All right? It comes up with more force than you put it down with. It's easier to stuff your emotion. It's easier to hide what you're going through. But the moment it comes up with such a ferocious momentum that it hurts. And sometimes hurts others in the way. It's kind of like how 2020 has been. So this year I was trying to figure out how do we get through this? So for me, part of it is learning to address what's going on. So I address the feelings that are inside. I've addressed the things that are in there. So it's, I'm not good enough, all right? I will never make it, all right? No one loves me. No one cares for me. No one supports me. No one is there that really cares about me. A lot of our seniors go through this moment during the holidays because we don't necessarily always get to see them. The one thing I regret every year is not being able to see my grandfather enough. And I would love to see him more. That's one thing we always regret, is we regret not seeing those we care about. And they want us there. And when we're not there during the holidays, we're not there during the big times, the birthdays, whatever it may be, the depression and hopelessness starts to sink in. See, depression can be caused by a physical and emotional result of hopelessness. I want to say that again. Depression can be caused by a physical and an emotional result of hopelessness. And sometimes that just sounds like no one loves me. No one cares about me. No one knows I exist. I have no purpose in life. There's another one you hear a lot with that. So what do we do? We got to turn to the scriptures. We got to turn to God. But how do you do it? So for me, I have to make a connection between me and someone in the Bible, and that helps me get through with what I'm dealing with. If I can make that connection with them, and I know that I'm not the first person to go through this, it helps move forward a little bit, for me personally. So I want to read some scripture to you. Psalms 13, 1 through 4. So this is from David. He says, "How long, Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle with my thoughts, and day after day have sorrow in my heart? How long will my enemy triumph over me? Look on me and answer, Lord my God. Give me light to my eyes, or I will sleep in death. And my enemy will say, I have conquered him, and my foes will rejoice when I fall." So you got to know some context about this. David had just wrote this, all right? And this is just after 1 Samuel chapter 20 and 21. So we're not going to go all the way into that, but I want to just paint the background for you a little bit. And this is what it is. David's running. He is scared. He's scared because Saul is trying to kill him. All right? That scare any of us, right? He feels like he has no one on his side. He is terrified. He's being called a madman. All right, and in this process, all right, he's got these emotions that are seeping in on him. So his buddy Jonathan, all right, Saul's son, says, "Listen, I know my father. He wouldn't do that. I'm like his right-hand guy. I know every move he makes before anyone else does." And David goes, "But you know that I have favor with your eyes." Saul knows this. He would never tell you what he was doing. So they decide to test Saul, and then they test him by this. They say, "Listen, you're going to have dinner, and my seat will be empty. And while my seat is empty, all right, don't bring me up. Let him bring me up. And if he brings me up as I'm missing David, where's David? Why is he not here? All right, tell him I went to go help my family. And if he's sorry and is missing me, I know I'm safe. But if he's angry and frustrated that I'm gone, all right, I know I'm not safe to be in the kingdom. So Jonathan does this, and this is what happens. Saul freaks out. Not only is he angry, all right, but he says, where is he? He must die. He has verbally now said that he wanted to kill David. So Jonathan does what they said to do. They sent a message out to David. This way David knows to hide and run. So David is on the run and scared because he has someone out to kill him. He is at a place of hopelessness because he is now on his own. He doesn't have all of his family by his side at this moment. He doesn't have a supporting wife with him in this moment. He doesn't even have his best friend with him because his best friend's still in the castle with his father. Hopelessness starts to sink in. We start to get distressed. We start to have anxiety. We start to have depression. We start to have fear. We start getting angry at other people and other situations, other things that are happening in our lives or that's not happening with us. But we got to know how we can turn to God. Depression is an emotional result of hopelessness. So how do you combat that? Combat it with joy. Well, how do you have joy? See, joy is an emotional result of hope. Joy is an emotional result of hope. And I feel like if I'm going to have joy, I need to have peace. See, peace is an emotional result of faith. So where are you going to get your faith from in that moment? You get your faith from trusting God. If you can trust God in the moment with even the little things in life, there is no problem you're going to stand against that you cannot overcome with God's help. So you need to trust God. Well, we just read David wasn't really doing that, right? In those last 4 verses. Let's go to the next 2. So Psalms 13:5 says, but I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. I will sing the Lord's praise, for he has been good to me. So David just poured his heart out. God, where are you in this place? Where are you in this moment? Have you forgotten me? I'm missing you. Where are you in this moment? But then he knows where to come back. He goes, you know what? I do trust you. I trust your love for me. I trust your salvation. I will sing and have joy. Have you ever tried to sing a song when you're not happy? You kind of start off like, I'm not going to sing for you, just so you all know. I'm not going to do that to you today. But you kind of start off very depressed, very low-key. And if it's the right song for you, and it's the right moment, and for me, one of those songs is Don't Give Up Hope. I'll get started really depressed, but by the time I'm done finishing it, I'm belching it out loud. My wife hates me because she knows I can't sing. But when you're in those moments, you got to look back at the good things God has done for you. So 2020, right? We talked about not being a great year. I want to talk to you about some good things that's happened in 2020. I've seen friends fall in love and get married. I've seen people having kids and rejoicing. I've seen growth in this church. Our theme for this year was time to grow again. And I think we did that. We grew physically. There are a lot of faces here that were not here at the beginning of last year. We've grown emotionally. We've grown spiritually. I want to just talk about the youth and the young adults. I have seen both of these groups of young men and women just explode in their faith. I've seen them come to a realization that it's not always self-centered and about them. Our young adult group has done multiple projects this year of helping others, families, helping others in need, helping others that are just in our group. We call our life group a family. And we make sure we take care of each other when there's a problem. And the best part is I don't have to initiate it. They initiate it. So we're seeing them do these things. And that's just those two programs. Let's talk about Alpha. Let's talk about our kids' ministry. People are growing during COVID where we have been restricted to how we can meet. We have been restricted to who we can talk to. And we've been restricted as a church in a lot of ways. But as a body of Christ, we've overcome. That's why there's people on this camera today manning it. That's why there are 30, 40 people online watching live today. That's why we can actually have the ability to reach out past the four walls we have now. 2020 has been a struggle and a challenge for each and every one of us in a different way, but we have overcome it in so many different ways. We have pushed through and persevered like we've never done before. But we have to prep for 2021. We have to prep for 2021. In order to prep for 2021, I'm asking you today to take your mask off. I'm asking you today to be raw and real. To meet God at this altar and lay down what's bothering you the most. To stand in the gap for those that are missing here today because they can't be because of physical illnesses. To stand in the gap for your family that hasn't been saved yet. 2021 needs to start off the right way. It doesn't need to start off with a resolution of how to lose 50 pounds, all right, because we don't keep it anyway. 2021 needs to start off with us here at this altar on our knees and praying and giving to Christ what we have held on, the baggage we refuse to let go. If we can do this, if we can do that, we will have a better start to 2021 than we did with 2020. We already know what to expect from 2020. We already have an expectation set up. But if we can have the expectation set up and have it aligned with God and His will for us, 2021 is going to be a breeze. Yes, there's going to be troubles. Yes, there's going to be hard times. Yes, things are going to continue happening. Yes, there's still COVID, but we will still be able to move on and persevere and not be shell-shocked like we were in 2020. Micah, could you know your team come up? I want to pray today as we get ready to end the service. But I want to do things a little different. I need a little help. So Pastor Lou, Miss Meg, as people come up for prayer, I would like for you to pray with them. Brother Jim, if you could meet Colton in the back, and if you're watching live and you need prayer, we have an elder that's going to be back to answer and pray for you right now. We're looking to stand in the gap. We're looking to stand in the gap and to lay down the things in our life that have been holding us back in 2020. Because if we can do that, we can have hope. Let's have hope that 2021 is better than 2020. Let's prepare ourselves today. Father, just thank you. I thank you for this congregation. I thank you for these people. I thank you for everyone that's watching live, Father. I thank you for the pastors and the elders of the church, Father. I thank you that we can come to you today and prepare our hearts for the new year. Prepare our lives, Father, to move forward. Father, I'm just asking you, Lord, that as we come to you, we're coming to you because we have hope. Because we're not looking to give up hope today. We're looking to have hope that 2021 is better than 2020. And we just thank you, Father.